Hey guys, it's Miss Mills, and if you're watching this video on Google Classroom, good job. And if you're watching this video on YouTube, welcome to Mrs. Mills' Math Time. Now, the whole point of this video is to help you with your August 31st assignment, Review Fractions Worksheet. Now, this video will just be reviewing how to add and subtract fractions. So this will help you with the first 20 questions of that worksheet, but do not fret. Tomorrow there will be another video showing you how to multiply and divide fractions that you can use to fill out the rest of the worksheet and turn it in on Tuesday. Now, there's two ways to do the assignment. You can, one, print out the PDF file of the Review Fractions worksheet, do your work on it, take a picture and send that to me on Google Classroom. Or if you don't have a printer, you can get out a scrap piece of paper and you can do all your work on that scrap piece of paper, take a picture and send it to me on Google Classroom. But regardless, if you do that, you have to go into Review Fractions Worksheet Google Slides, go in there and type in all the answers into that Google slide and then send that to me as well. That way I know that you have gotten the right answers. But at the same time, I need the scrap piece of paper or the picture of the PDF file where you worked on it. That way I know that you did your own work and that I can see your thought process if you got some fractions wrong. So that's how I want that turned in. Now, let's see. Okay, so the last thing here is if you don't have your Review Fractions worksheet out already, I recommend you pausing the video and getting that out right now, because I will be using examples pulled directly from the assignment. That way, if y'all are doing all 20 questions, you're already going to have one or two already done for you. So go ahead and get that out right now. Let's go ahead and get started. So let's start with adding fractions. Of course, if you have the same denominator, so let's say like 2 over 4 plus 2 over 4. Hope you can see that. You can't see that. Give me a second. Let's try this again. All right. If you have 2 over 4 and you add that by 2 over 4, you have the same denominator. So you can go ahead and add that across. This will be 4 over 4. Okay, doesn't take very long at all. But then you have to make sure 4 over 4 divided by 4 is going to be 1. Okay, but if you do not have the same denominator, you have to find the least common denominator. So let's go ahead and go to number 4 on your worksheet. Number 4 is actually the very first addition problem on this worksheet. So let's go ahead and do it. All right, negative 7 over 4. And we're going to add that by 2/3. All right, so here's our problem right here. The first step we need to do is make the denominators the exact same so we can add them across. So to do that, we have to figure out the least common denominator of both of these. Now, the least common denominator of 4 and 3 is going to be 12. So let's figure out how many times 4 goes into itself to get to 12. Well, 4, 8, 12, 3 times. So if we multiply 4 by 3, we're going to get 12. But if we multiply the denominator by 3, we have to multiply the numerator by 3 as well. So we're going to multiply that by 3 as well. Now we need to get 3 to 12. So how many times does 3 go into itself to get to 12? Well, 3, 6, 9, 12 goes into it 4 times. So if we multiply 3 by 4, we'll get this to be 12 as well. And if we do it to the denominator, we have to do it to the numerator as well. So we're going to multiply that by 4 as well. Now, let's bring these down. Negative 7 times 3 is going to be negative 21. 4 times 3 is going to be 12. We're going to drop this addition sign because it does not change. 2 times 4 is going to be 8. And 3 times 4 is going to be 12. Now we have the exact same denominator and we can just add it across. So negative 21 added by 8 is going to be negative 13 over 12. And in this particular worksheet, I will take improper fractions. So you can have this right here. But if you want to make it into a mixed fraction, that's okay too. So let's figure out how to make an improper fraction into a mixed one. So first we have to figure out how many times 12 goes into 13. Well, 12 only goes into 13 one time, because if we multiply 12 by 2, it would be 24, which is a lot bigger than 13. So 12 only goes into 13 one time. So that will be our whole number. All right? And then after that, we have to subtract the 13 by 12, because 12 only went into one time, so we only have to subtract it by 12. And what we have left over after we do that is 1. And then the denominator stays the same. And don't forget the negative sign. So negative 13 over 12 can also be written as 1 and 1/12. Okay? So now let's move on to subtraction real quick, which is very similar to addition. If you have any questions about adding fractions, please get a hold of me and we will figure it out together, and I'll make another video if I have to. All right, let's go to subtraction. Let's just go ahead and do number 1. This is a subtraction problem. And it is 2 and 5/6. We're going to subtract that by 3/5. All right, first things first. We need to make this mixed number into a improper fraction. So how do we do that? Well, let's bring this over here. 2 and 5/6. All right, the first step is we need to multiply these two numbers. 2 times 6 is going to be 12. And then we add this number right here, the 12, by 5. So we're going to add 12 plus 5, and that's going to be 17. And then we keep the same denominator, so it's going to be 17 over 6. So let's go ahead and write that down. 17 over 6 minus 3/5. All right, let's make a barrier. All right, so that's our new question right here. So again, the first thing we need to do, since they are different denominators, is we have to find the least common denominator of both 6 and 5. And the least common denominator of 6 and 5 is going to be 30. So we have to figure out how many times does 6 go into itself to become 30? Well, 5 times. So we're going to multiply 6 by 5. And if we multiply 6 by 5, we have to multiply 17 by 5. All right, now we need to make 5 into 30. How many times does 5 go into itself to get to 30? Well, it'll be 6 times. So we're going to multiply 6 by 5, and if we do it to the denominator, we have to do it to the numerator as well. All right, and if we multiply 6 by 5 in the denominator, we have to do it to the numerator as well. So this is going to be 3 times 6. So let's drop it down again. 17 times 5 is going to be 85. 6 times 5 is going to be 30. Let's drop the subtraction sign. 3 times 6 is going to be 18. And 5 times 6 is also going to be 30. Now that we have the same denominators, we can just multiply it across. The denominator will stay the same all the way through. So all we really have to do is we have to subtract 85 by 18, and that is going to be 67. And that is going to be our answer for that. So let's go ahead and do one more problem. Let's do number 9. So let's move down to number 9. All right. So number 9 is going to be 1 over 4. We're going to subtract that by 2 and 2/3. All right, again, first thing we need to do is make this into a mixed number. 2 multiplied by 3 is going to be 6 plus 2. That's going to be 8. It's going to be 8. And we keep the denominator, so it's going to be 8 over 3. Again, I multiplied 2 times 3. I took that number and added it by 2. And that was the numerator. And then we keep the denominator. All right, so let's move this down. 1/4. And we're going to subtract that by 8 over 3. So the first thing we need to do is make these denominators the same. So we have to find the least common denominator. The least common denominator of, again, 4 and 3 is going to be 12. 4 to get to 12, we have to multiply it by 3. If we do that to the denominator, we have to do it to the numerator. So we're going to multiply 3 times 1. To get 3 to become 12, we have to multiply it by 4. And if we do that to the denominator, we have to do it to the numerator. All right, let's bring these down one more time. 3 times 1 is going to be 3. 4 times 3 is going to be 12. We're going to drop this subtraction sign. 8 times 4 is going to be 32. And 3 times 4 is also going to be 12. Now that we have the same denominators, we can go ahead and subtract across. 3 minus 32 is going to be a negative 29. The denominator stays the same all the way across, so it's going to be 12. So your answer is going to be negative 29 over 12. And that's all I have for you today. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to email me, get a hold of me on Google Classroom or whatever. I will make more videos of doing more examples if I have to. Y'all have a great day, and don't forget, it is always a beautiful day. See you guys.